Hey guys and gals, Mr. O here, and do you remember the previous Tournament of Champions? You know, the one that Wile E. Coyote versus Tomcat won? Well, funny enough, that has yet to happen in Death Battle, never appearing on Season 10 whatsoever. Perhaps the folks at Acme are still ironing out the details. Or maybe a very saucy imposter might have something to do with that. Believe it or not, Among Us vs Fall Guys finally came to Death Battle. Passions have been put to display, slapstick comedy has been implemented in clever and unique ways, and lots of fingers have been pointed at each other in a bid to see who's the actual imposter. Definitely not me, if that's what you're thinking. It was probably Wiz, or Boomstick, or maybe even Dummy, for all I know. All that made the analysis section a pretty interesting listen. An interesting thing to listen to. Right after getting PTSD from learning of their respective anatomies. Thanks, Death Battle. Really needed to see what they looked like on the inside. But contrary to the sentiments of many, I looked at this matchup with a little more optimism. I wanted to see how they would animate this matchup. And I was not disappointed. I mean, it's great that they started out as a random Among Us gameplay. Well, with the announcement of the roles, and both factions trying to survive while figuring out who the imposter is. Only for one murder and one meeting to ever happen, and that was all it took for everybody to be ejected. As though everybody was probably in the imposter. Everybody got ejected into the Fall Guys Stadium, and it went from solving a mystery to competing for the goddamn crown. To be fair, I would do anything for that crown too. And so would everybody involved in this fight. Yep, eliminations happened left and right, up till there was only 2 left. The iconic mascots of their respective games. The pink Fall Guy versus the iconic red imposter. Not gonna lie, it was entertaining to watch. It was both funny and also entertaining, but also goddamn brutal at the same time. Well, you know what I'm talking about, right? Yeah. Well, honey, at least the Fall Guys not gonna need therapy, right? I mean, that's what you got the crown for. Who needs therapy when you have a crown? It's not exactly Bowser vs. Eggman, but I still love this episode nonetheless. It was pretty entertaining, all things considered. That said, this has been my fan art for the fight. Now, here's the power-up I made for it. I call it Sus Beam. It lets you take the shape of a beam creature that can generate sharp tendrils capable of stabbing into people, and you can also teleport around an area, which at the same time disables machinery. The downside to it, though, is that it gives you this little cooldown, meaning that you gotta have to wait a few minutes before you can teleport again. Also makes you look pretty sus. Yes, I went there. I mean, how much more material do you expect me to take from Among Us? Anywho, that is all from me, Mr. O, and see you in the next world. Boy.